Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and I failed. Yeah, I failed. We tried to get to Shadowland stage 130, and as you can see, I only got to stage 117. So on the positive side, since the last time I tried, which was, like I said, the end of March 2019, so whatever, 6-7 months ago, 8 months ago, I've made an improvement of, 19 or 21 stages from 96 up to 117. I think it's 21 stages, so that's pretty good. My previous best had been 96, and I got some pretty sweet rewards. I'm not complaining about the rewards that I got per se. You know, none of the Shadowland chests had any CTPs or any premium cards or anything like that, but I did get the first time clear reward for stage 105, which was a Mega Tier 2 ticket, and then I also got the first clear reward for stage, I don't know, 110 or 100, which was 75 CCF, and I got a bunch of other stuff too, and it was really fun, and I streamed for almost 12 hours straight just playing Shadowland. But I did lose, I did fail, and that gives me, you know, it brings with that mixed feelings because, you know, when you lose at something, the natural reaction is you want to lash out and blame the thing that made you lose. But Shadowland is not really a bad game mode. It's not a great game mode either, unfortunately. I mean, it's a good game mode. It's good, but it could be a lot better. And I've talked about it before. I'm not going to make this video just about talking up the possibilities for Shadowland, but that is one of the things that I realized. The higher up you go, the further up you go, there is still room for strategy, and there's still a bunch of room for me to grow. And I can show you guys what I mean, because if we go over here, on the left we have my Alliance members, ArcCS Shadowland run. Huge shout out to him for giving me this information. On the right here we have my full run that I did live with all of the stages tracked out, and you can see there we fell short. But even then, I've already started to make notes on characters that I used too soon, how I can use them more effectively later on, and stuff like that. So there's definitely room to improve for me, but I think Marvel Future Fight, the devs, should really look at Shadowland and try to improve it on the basis of strategy rather than just pumping up the numbers. And what I mean by that is, if you take a look, the boss bonus stats, that's basically the only thing that makes Shadowland difficult, going from 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60, 60 to 70. And, you know, you can see some of these numbers are absurd. So you take the regular floor 9 stats and you add 6,071% HP. That's just absurd. And so that's not really fun to be fighting enemies that not only they can one-shot you, and they have an obscene amount of HP. The fight itself doesn't change. There's no new mechanics. There's nothing that you can really do in the fight, in the environment, to change the results. You just have to make sure that you can do enough damage by either bringing someone that hits hard enough, or making sure you've got, you know, CTPs on CTPs on CTPs, and combo that with all defense down and things like that. So I would really encourage the Marvel Future Fight devs. A lot of things need to be changed and improved for Shadowland. Of course, you know, they need to bring in a bunch of new characters and make stages for those characters. There's tons of characters. There might be like 100 characters now that are not featured as battles, you know, as playable stages that you can fight against in Shadowland. You know, we refresh these stages, and it's the same stages that they made when they first made Shadowland, which was like 3 years ago. So it's high time that they update these with, like, you know, 30, 40, 50 new stages. But I also would encourage them to take a look at the way that they balance these, because it's really not worth it for players, and it's very discouraging for players when they see these enemies that have more HP than World Boss stage like 50 or 60. So imagine, in World Boss, you've got a leadership, you've got a character, you've got a support, you've got 5 strikers. Take the strikers away. Maybe take away the leadership. Probably have to take away the support as well, because most Shadowland stages, if you're a hero, you're fighting other heroes. You're not fighting villains. So you don't get any of those bonuses. You can't use characters like Coulson to buff you up. And then you look, and the enemy has 90 million HP. That is not an exaggeration. You guys are going to see from the highlights, I saw regularly 60, 70, 80 million, 90 million HP. We didn't get up to 100 million HP, but we were pretty damn close. So I really encourage them to take a look at this, because I think a lot of players just feel discouraged and then just don't try. And you don't want that kind of content where players don't feel like they should do it because it's just a huge pain in the ass, and it's not actually challenging or sort of creative or strategic. Now, one tip I do have for you guys, I have tips for you guys if you guys want to have that Christmas Shadowland list of 130 stages that I was planning to do. I can link that for you guys as well. But one strategy that I have for you guys that I didn't realize until it was kind of too late is when you're refreshing the stages, if you're trying to push to a high Shadowland stage, whether it's 75 or 80 or 90, this works throughout. Don't refresh for stages above 24, because once you hit above 24, it will make the enemy tier 2. So on top of all of the other boss bonus stats, you will also have an additional stat bump that the character gets for being tier 2. So you basically want to aim for a sweet spot between like 15 and 24. Stages, if you can find a floor between floor 15 and floor 24, that's really the sweet spot. The reason why I say 15 is because the lower the floor, the higher the bonus stats. So you see here we've got 4,000 HP, and 2,200 attack. If we refresh and we get a lower stage, now look what happens. This is a floor 6, so we've gone up to 3,000 attack and 6,500 HP. So you don't want to fight stuff that's like floor 1 to 10 because the stat bonuses are just going to be insane. But you want to go lower than 25. So that is my tip to you. Also, of course, aim for, if you have the gold and you can refresh enough times, aim for things like the She-Hulk relay because there's only 2 enemies instead of 3 or 4 or 5. Aim for the Destroyer relay, and anything that has 3 or 2 enemies, prioritize those because they're obviously much easier to kill 3 enemies or 2 enemies that have a stat bump rather than 4 or 5. Another strategy that I noticed that works for other players is to combo a character that can hit really hard, that doesn't have all defense down, and combo them with a character that does have all defense down. So if you're finding that you can't hit a high enough stage, for example, and let's say you're using Hulkbuster for his all defense down on a certain stage, you might be able to go to a higher stage. Let's say you're using Hulkbuster on stage 40. You might be able to go to stage 45 or 50, but you combo Hulkbuster with another high damage combat character, like let's say Agent Venom, who deals a lot of damage but doesn't have all defense down, and you use them together in a rumble. And it might not happen all the time, but eventually your proc, your damage proc, will sync up with Hulkbuster, the AI, using the 4th skill, and then that will allow you to do a huge spike of damage. Also, I think it would be amazing if they completely reworked Shadowland. I'm just going to throw this idea out there. If they completely reworked Shadowland, and rather than making these stages harder and harder in terms of the percentages, they could allow us to bring in players from our alliance or our friends list to play with us at the same time. I think that would be amazing, like a co-op dungeon, co-op Shadowland. I would love that. And that would be a really interesting way to make things different and create new strategies, because you can combine different characters. You know, I don't have this character unlocked, but you do, and so on and so forth. But yeah, as far as me failing, I mean, it really just gives me something to work towards now, and I can decide if I want to gear my account more towards PvE, stop equipping, you know, invincibility obelisks and CTPs of authority and stuff like that, and start building more characters specifically for PvE, specifically for Shadowland content, and doing that to maybe, hopefully, maybe next Christmas, getting to Shadowland stage 130. It's not really for the rewards at this point. It's more for the prestige. It's more for just the accomplishment of itself. But it's one of the last accomplishments that I haven't yet completed in Marvel Future Fight as an individual player. So I definitely do want to climb that mountain eventually, especially now that I've tried to climb it and I've failed. Now, I should have slipped this in at the beginning of the video. Apologies. I have no idea where to put this in as its own video or as a part of this video. But I just wanted to say, Marvel Future Fight posted this Twitter thing. Click the present for a special message from the Marvel Future Fight team. And then it's a picture and it says, Happy Holidays, the Marvel Future Fight team. And it's got Lady Holiday Deadpool and this little Wolverine doll there. But there's no present. I have absolutely no idea what this is. Yeah, so this is really weird. And I have to say, I don't want to sound like a whiner or anything like that, but pretty much every other game, especially Marvel games, Contest of Champions, Strike Force, Puzzle Quest, every other game had a free gift that was given. I guess free gift is redundant. A free gift, but it was a gift that was given today on the 25th for Christmas. Regardless of whatever login events or check-in events that other games had, they also had one specific gift that went into players' inboxes that said, you know, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever, from the team, from the dev team, and, you know, like, we hope you keep playing. So I was a little bit disappointed reading that and thinking like, oh, we didn't get anything. It doesn't have to be something big. It doesn't have to be some grand, you know, it doesn't have to be like a CTP or like something crazy, but just a small gesture would go a long way. I know that the Marvel Future Fight dev team is in Korea, and Koreans don't really celebrate Christmas, but I think a large enough portion of the player base does celebrate Christmas, whether they're living in North America or not. And I just think it would be a nice gesture to recognize those holidays, because we recognize Korean holidays in game too, like Chuseok. We recognize, you know, the Lunar New Year and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that would be really nice. So I'm looking forward to 2020 and Marvel Future Fight with optimism. I've got some new challenges ahead for myself, and I can't wait to bring you guys the highlights of my failed run, because it's always good to fail. It gives you an idea of where you are, and it gives you motivation to improve and get better for next time. So I'm definitely not as good as I thought I was, especially when it comes to Shadowland, and I'll be trying to get there hopefully in 2020. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you guys were on the live stream watching, thank you so much. I really appreciate all the support. I really appreciate everyone that was there cheering me on, heckling me, etc. And hopefully we can do another fun sort of community live stream for some sort of event build-up thing in the future that maybe is a little bit shorter, so I'm not there for 12 hours straight and we miss a YouTube video in between. So yeah, anyways, hit me up in the comments down below. Make sure you join the Discord. Love you guys. Make sure you're safe and happy for the holidays, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.